Welcome to Texas Franchise Radio, where your hosts, Josh Cherry and Robbie Marlowe, bring you all things franchising in the Texas market. Franchising is one of 3 growth strategies businesses can use to expand and capture market share, effective when done right. But there's a lot to this dynamic business model. Learn from others in the industry as we bring on all levels of franchise operators and experts.
Texas Franchise Radio. You ready? Let's go. Robbie and Josh going live, and it's time to hit the road. You were tuned in to Texas Franchise Radio. Oh, you're in the business? Well, this is what you need. Reppin' Texas, they professionals up in the industry. What we talking
All right,
about?
good morning, Conroe, Texas. This is Texas Franchise Radio coming at you live at, 11 o'clock. We got me, this is Robbie Marlowe here, and we got our co-host.
Good morning, Conroe in Houston area. Josh Cherry here.
All right, and then we also have a great special guest today. This is Sean Greeley. He's the MP founder and CEO. Sean is has unrelenting passion for empowering fitness business owners to grow their business and create the life they want. In 2006, MP has helped over 45,000 fitness professionals and business owners in 96 countries and grown to the next level. MP has been listed 8 times on the Inc. 500 to 5,000 list of the fastest growing companies and has a global team and offices in Los Angeles, London, and Sydney. Sean's a great friend of mine and Josh's. I'm excited to have him on the show. It's been a while since I talked to him.
Sean, what's up, sir? How are you?
Guys, good morning. I'm pretty pumped to talk to you today. And before we get going, I got to say, great rap intro. I mean, you guys have come a long way. It's so class.
Yeah, Robbie wrote that himself. I mean, he spent all weekend just him and Ryan in the room on auto-tunes getting that right. So they put a
Fantastic.
No, yeah, everything that Robbie said about Sean, absolutely true, but even more so, has been a huge mentor for Robbie and I personally. Meant a lot to us, and has been a big part of the Delta Life Fitness journey in franchising. I know we're going to dive into that a lot here, but this is Texas Franchise Radio, and Sean, I know you'll remember you drug us into franchising, really. Brought us out to San Antonio, brought us to the International Franchise Association Conference, and said, guys, if you're going to do this, you got to go the franchise route, and kind of introduced us to that world. So really special to have you back on the radio show today, talking to the 3 groups we talked to about how they can either take their current company and turn it into a franchise, or people that are just looking to get into a currently existing franchise. So super excited to have you on the show, Sean.
Awesome. Well, we've had an amazing journey together so far, and excited for all the updates and to be here with you guys today.
Awesome. So when we're looking at, let's start with the first group. When we're looking at a group of people who want to either have a current business and are interested in franchising. Franchising is catching a lot of momentum right now, just to catch everybody back up. About 2,000 franchise offerings in North America just a decade ago. We're at 4,400 now, 4,400 franchise offerings in North America today. And that's expected to double, go into 10,000 over the next decade. So franchising is continuing to pick up steam, and especially for what the private equity guys would call Amazon-proof businesses, so the service-based, especially service-based membership models with recurring revenue. We're seeing all types of eyelash studios, haircut, fitness is a great one, massage, anything that's a service-based. Sean, you've been doing this a long time, and you've been helping a lot of business owners. With business owners that have these different service-type-based businesses, what do you think it's most important for them, for the ones that are opening with the idea of scaling, either soon or eventually? What are the key functions of their business they should be looking at that they really need to get dialed in if they're going to create that replicable model to be able to franchise?
Well, I think it's all failing fast, right? At every stage, you want to make mistakes, you want to learn, you want to grow to the next level quickly. And I think the most valuable, part of really the success today is, first and foremost, you got to have a great value proposition. You got to be able to solve a problem. And then you got to be able to tell people about it, right? You got to be able to grow the customer base and be able to have skills to sell and market. And then third, you got to be able to build a team around all of that to be able to continue to develop, yourself and others to achieve bigger goals and mission. So it really is those 3 things in that order. But as you guys know, you're always bouncing between 1, 2, and 3, and back to 1 and over to 3 and back to 2. And working on those consistently through all the stages of growth at every growth run, trying to make it better, trying to simplify it, trying to bring the right people together to add new value to the equation and get more speed on the board. So, that is the journey of building companies and entrepreneurship.
And it's all super easy too, right?
It's simple, yet it's incredibly difficult and hard.
That's a really good way to put it. So, figuring out a unique selling proposition, being able to solve a problem, then building sales and marketing around that to generate the revenue, and then building a team. Were those the 3 steps you were saying, Sean?
That's it. That's the 3 steps. You got it.
And you're right. And that's, a lot of times, I think even us, a lot of times we've got focused in too much on maybe 1 or 2 or, and you just get distracted with everything else going on. It's hard to stay focused on those 3. But yes, if you are building a franchise company, if you're here in Conroe, Houston, anywhere all over the world, and you're building a business that you want to franchise, I like what Sean said about you got to fail fast. I mean, he knows our story, but when you look at Delta Life really is. We're driving around today to 4 or 5 different studios with some retail people that are helping us better site select nationwide. And when we go to these 4 or 5 different sites, they all look the same. We're crystal clear on who we are. We serve women 30-minute classes and we have childcare, right? But Sean and everybody else listening to the show knows we didn't start there. We started in parks and parking lots. And so I like what Sean said about you got to fail forward, because the only way to figure out what problem you're solving and all those things and how to build the sales and marketing that goes around that is you got to make some decisions and you got to get some data back. That way you can go back into the trenches and make adjustments and get back out there.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about all the locations you guys have gone through over the years. And my favorite is really the warehouse with the deer story. I don't know if you've shared that one, but that is my favorite. I think that's worthy of mention on the show today.
That's a good point. So we need to let Mr. Marlowe tell this one. Mr. Marlowe, why is Sean Greeley talking about a deer stand in what is now a premium boutique fitness experience for women?
I think he's talking about when we had a location.
This is the definition of fail fast. So you guys got to represent. Are
we talking about the one that had the deer urine going through it?
So that's okay. So we have 2 deer stories. A warehouse studio that Kristen and I owned in Pensacola, Florida, had a deer factory next door, and the deer urine was coming through. But 5 states away in Texas, Robbie had a warehouse gym that actually had a deer stand for an office. So I think it says enough to say that we had to ask for clarification on that question on which circumstance you were talking about.
No, you've definitely put your time in on site selection and come a long way. So love that.
All right, I want to move into just talking about mentors and how important they are. And we've talked about a lot that we've had on our journey. We've had Lynette, who was a franchise. She understood that. She became a VP of franchising for Dunkin'. She helped us out quite a bit. Sean, obviously, we owe the world to you. You helped us way early on understand how do we. And it's funny. I want to talk today about the phase we were in back when we were with you. And I think back to some of the subtle hints you would give us, because we were all about just 10x action back then. And, you got to do all these things and just go faster.
Snapchatting all day.
Snapchatting all day. And I can remember, Sean, the thing that meant the most to me about the way you mentored is you didn't just come right out directly at us and tell us, and maybe just because you've learned so much coaching over the years. And I want you to tell us about that. What makes a good mentor? If people are having people come to them, let's talk about that, because you didn't sit down with me and Robbie and tell us not to Snapchat all day. You would just subtly give me books like Built to Last by Jim Collins or Good to Great. You would put in front of me the right resources to show me that we didn't want to be a flash in the pan kind of brand, and we needed to start thinking about longevity and switching from 10x action to more strategy. As people, how do you as a coach, Sean, and you've coached at every level, how do you as a coach help those that are coming to you, or if anybody wants to be a better mentor to young entrepreneurs, how do you do that? I assume you don't just go out and tell them, right? You have to kind of lead them there. What have you found to be most effective when coaching?
Well, it's a great question, and I think coaching skills are like any skills. You got to continue to work at and practice them and develop them. And, you make mistakes and you learn and you grow just like any skill set. But I think, I think with any talent, and great energy, you don't want to stifle the creativity. You don't want to turn, some of the most exciting things I think that was so visible early on with you guys is your energy, your enthusiasm, your fire, your creativity. And, you don't want to ever shut down people's strengths. You want to help them develop their strengths, but also just help bring in, the right pieces that are going to magnify their strengths and help them better leverage their talents and capabilities and strengths and unique abilities to magnify and them in a way that creates more value for everybody and leads them in a powerful way. And I think, for you guys, a lot of the pieces have been, certainly early on around the vision, around the strategy, around the model, moving from licensing to franchising, and just getting you in the right rooms and the right networks, and so I think, with, I guess with anyone that's a mentor or an agent or, someone who does consulting with folks at every level, it's really just looking at what are the unique strengths, gifts and abilities and talents, what are the areas that need to be developed and improved, and how can we, best guide them in that direction to, make the most of what's there and take it to the next level, and just working on those, consistently working on those steps to magnify and increase, the amplification of what the special sauce is there. So, that's something that I really enjoy, something that I pride myself on, the ability to do well, I think. And certainly I've made my mistakes as a coach too, and learned along the way, just like any coach. But that's those are some of the most important keys to be able to listen really well, and be able to assess and guide in the right way.
Yeah, that's good. And I think that's in Steve Covey's, right? Seek first to understand, and then speak to understand, and then be understood. That's obviously one that I struggle with. I'm always wanting to talk. Sean, I've noticed that about you, and frankly, a lot of the people you have around you in your life. Y'all do very good at really listening, and you're not quick to speak. Like when I think about the times I'll sit down at the dinner table with you and I'm talking about issues I'm fighting, or even on a coaching call with you, and I'll finish my sentence, and you've just got that blank stare. And it's because, I don't think you were thinking about what you were going to say. You were really listening and understanding and then coming back with a coach. So you've done that incredibly well. You're right. You do have a unique talent for that. MPE's been listed 8 times now on the Inc. 500, 5,000 list. That's not an easy list to make once. But, doing it once is doable, and then you can try to, create some of that success the following year. But to continue to be on that list 8 times, it takes a lot. Sean, did you have important mentors to you early on in your process, and do you still use mentors today?
Absolutely, yeah. And I'll say about the Inc., after 8 times, it's been kind of like, well, I don't really care anymore. I've got nothing to prove to anybody or myself, and but the awards and recognition are nice, and they're a way to kind of keep score. And when you're into achievement and focus on those things, it's a fun accolade. But at the end of the day, I care very less about those things at this point in my life. But mentors have been a huge aspect to every stage of my growth. I've shared. I've invested, close to probably $1 million over the years in working with top mentors and consultants. And kind of my strategy has always been, if I want to learn something, find the best person in the world that is incredible at what I want to learn, and pay them whatever they want, and invest time to learn and grow and develop and help them, leverage them to help shape me and grow. And I think just really surrounding myself with, and certainly we can talk about mentors some more, but I think even more important than the mentors equally as important as the right mentor is just the right network and the right developing the people you surround yourself with who, you speak with weekly or monthly or, quarterly or whatever it is, but who are the people in your life that you stay connected with and engage with, and, building that personal network and professional network in your life, not just around your business life, but in your personal life and your family life career, I think, that's all part of your development. And I attribute, who I am today and who I'm continuing to work on to become to not only my own focus and effort, but the beautiful people that I've been able to surround, myself with in my life, again, both personally and professionally. So, all those are part of how we shape ourselves, and therefore shape the world around us in a powerful way.
It's so funny how priorities change over the years, and just and Robbie and I talk about this a lot when we first started this journey, what we thought we wanted, and you can't know, and I don't think you can know until you're in it. And Robbie and I've talked about that a lot. When you're not in it, you just think go hard and 7 days a week, and then even the stage we're in, Robbie and I talked about this. We all went, and Ryan had a baseball game on Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah, he had the whole Charlo crew out there, and that's something that we hold near and dear to our heart. And EOS puts it, doing what you love with people you love, making a giant impact, being fairly compensated, and having time for other passions. And, Sean, you beat that into our head very early on. And I know that as you go through different life stages, priorities can change, which, by the way, we got a little Bo Jackson. Tell us about that. I imagine you're dominating that like you do everything else in your life, but as life changes, I think priorities change, and I think that's okay. And how is life with little Bo Jacks?
Yeah, so we have a 6-month-old in our home, and it's our first, and so it's, I now have appreciation for what all my friends have been talking about the past 10 years. So I'm 42 today, just turned 42 last month, and I kind of waited to start a family life in my 40s when a lot of my friends did that in their late 20s and 30s, and so that's been really obviously a big focus. It is my main focus now, is my family, and really and so it's been just great to be able to adjust a little bit, and I'm still as engaged as ever in business and entrepreneurship, and some of the work and key projects I'm involved with that I love and that are going great and having great success, but just I'd say a more well-rounded life today, as a husband, as a father. So it's been awesome. I wouldn't say I'm dominating fatherhood. I'd say my wife is dominating motherhood. It's probably a more accurate description, and I'm doing the best to play my role. So, but it's awesome. He's growing quick. It's amazing how fast these kids grow. So, he's 6 months old. We'll have 18 summers with him before he's off to, I'm sure, the next phase of his life. So, I'm trying to take advantage of every one of those as much time as we can, especially during these early years, which are so fun when they're just learning, at such a fast rate every day, and everything's new and exciting. So it's awesome.
Yeah, they go by quick too. So when you blink, I think Brenna's 10 and Ryan's 5, and I think Josh is 116.
Just started driving, yeah.
Yeah, so we got to watch out
Crazy.
the roads down here. But no, they go by quick.
No, Sean, and we know your story, but take us back to the beginning. Let's transition a little bit. Let's hear about the beginning of MPE. Where did that inspiration come from? And I know you had some stuff you dealt with personally. Walk us through that. How did MPE get its start?
Yeah, so my background was originally, I was an athlete, did a lot of sports growing up. I competed in professional wakeboarding for several years, started coaching part-time, different sports, got certified as a personal trainer, loved the work I was doing, coaching and in sports and health and fitness, while I was an athlete, and focused on that. And then as I finished my kind of sports career in focus, my parents said, "Hey, it's great you've been doing this coaching thing. Why don't you go get a real job?" And, if you don't know what that is, then go back to graduate school like everybody else who's just trying to push off student loans a couple more years and extend their hurrah. And I signed up for an MBA program. I went to the first day of class. I went to orientation. I listened to the professor who at orientation never run a business. And a lot of kids in the program, my peers were just trying to go climb a corporate ladder somewhere, not entrepreneurial focused, and just knew I was in the wrong room. I come from a family of entrepreneurship. My dad, I watched build a commercial real estate company from nothing up to some significance in New England as a kid, and both my grandfathers served in the military, and had done some great things in business. And so I really left the MBA program the first day, left my tuition on the table. I paid $10,000 of my own, money, and just said, I'm going to go figure out, this path that doesn't really exist, of following my passion in sports and health and fitness and coaching and make something of it. And so I started a personal training company. I grew that to a couple locations, had a staff of 8 coaches, and served over 653 clients in Central Florida marketplace for 3 years. And then I had a turning point at I got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and it was a really scary time. I didn't know if I was going to be around in a year. Sold my businesses, focused on my health, and said, okay, if you're going to be gone a year, what do you want to do with your life? Great question to be faced with at 26 years old. And for me, that was really just helping as many people as I could, and friends of mine who were coaches, who had started small fitness businesses and studios, and were really trying to solve a lot of the problems that I had developed some of my own solutions for how to, have effective sales conversations, how to price and package services, how to market, how to hire staff, how to read financial reports, all those typical small business challenges. And so I started just consulting with some friends of mine, really with no vision for a business, and helping them to solve those problems. And I saw just great fulfillment out of that work. I saw, people who I cared about that were struggling, earning, $2,000 a month in income, and, through some good training and systems and application, 4 months later, they're generating $25,000 a month in revenue in their business, and, and on the upside. So I just really threw myself into that work, and as my health improved and I got, clearance, I just kind of kept going down that path. Eventually formed NP in July of 2006, and just started essentially packaging solutions and teaching those systems to the fitness industry. And NP, went on a phenomenal run from a small little mom and pop to a global enterprise, as you said, and, international great success, and offices overseas in London and Sydney. And we've continued to evolve and continue to innovate over the years. And, today, NP is just doing just a lot of fun. We're doing some great stuff, and certainly in 13 years, you go through a lot of evolutions of your model and your products and service offerings. And, we've done a lot of different things, from big conferences to education to coaching to licensing and information products and, subscription model thing, membership sites and more. I mean, it's been a journey in the info, coaching, consulting, licensing, areas of business education and support. So, so that's our journey. It's been an amazing one, and I'm sure there's lots we can talk about along the way. But today we've served over 45,000 fitness professionals and business owners in 96 countries. We have a global team, and we're just passionate about empowering fitness professionals and business owners to grow their business and really create the life they want for themselves and their families.
There's a lot to unpack there, and I appreciate you sharing your wisdom, Sean. It's all good stuff, but I'm going to try and go through this kind of methodically here. You said something earlier in the show that today you have nothing left to prove. You understand now, and you're probably super self-aware of what you want out of yourself, your business, your personal life, and you work hard to create that life for yourself. But I also know you, Sean, and I know you like to win. When you go back to that young man that walked away from the MBA program, and I'm sure a lot of people listening today that either want to get into business, start a franchise, create a franchise, they're probably faced with a similar thing. They've either got some sort of comfort that would require walking away from. When you were that young man, Sean, that walked away from that MBA, whether you were okay with it or not, I'm sure there was a little piece of you that felt like, am I quitting? Am I giving up? Did you have those feelings, and how do you confidently move past that to go chase what you really wanted to do? Was that a hard struggle for you?
No, actually it wasn't. I have none of those feelings. So my only feeling was I know where my passions lie. I know the work that I want to go pursue. And I don't see me investing, a couple years of my life and, $50,000 plus with a bunch of kids who don't share my passions as the right way and speed to get there. So I'm just, if I have a goal and a vision and a passion, and there's not a clear path or bridge to get there, I'm going to go make one and find one. And so really my focus was 100% on following my passion and, investing aggressively in what I believe to be the development path that would allow me to go achieve and fulfill that vision. So, I never thought about any insecurity or regret or fear around quitting that path. I mean, there's certainly fear around pursuing an unknown path.
Yeah.
And that is the journey of entrepreneurship. That's like, you got to figure it out, whatever comes up along the way, you got to figure it out. And everybody faces challenges at multiple points in the journey that, where you get punched in the face. And it's, and you gotta pick yourself off the ground, and you gotta dust yourself off, and you gotta get better. And I think those are the challenges. But as far as leaving a traditional higher education path to go follow an entrepreneurship journey, that was an easy one.
Nice. And I know that I should have expected that answer from you, Sean. That's definitely, I know what kind of a go-getter you are, and I could see you walking out of that class like, man, I'm out of here. I got this. I'm sure you've coached a lot, though, over the years, and Robbie and I have certainly ran into a lot of people that struggle with that, and I think a lot of their anxiety and even depression really comes from not having that 100% certainty of what they're called to do. Sean, have you had any experience coaching people in the past that are really on the fence and just don't know what they, and I have a lot of people, and I want to reshare this clip and see if it can help somebody. What advice or coaching have you given to someone who just isn't that confident in the choice and is really struggling with figuring out what they want to do and how they want to chase that passion? Is there anything you've come across that can help people figure that stuff out?
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to get a mentor. You got to get a coach. You can't figure all this stuff out by yourself. You got to have some support around you for sure. But I think it's true. You got to follow your passions. We talk about this concept called the Thrive Zone, and it really is identifying what are problems you most love solving, because that's what we all get paid to do in business, is solve problems. So what problems do you love solving? What are the people you like to work with, and the clients and the customer in the market that you enjoy spending time in? Or, it's truly a pleasure to go spend time with the people that, that you're going to do business with. And then really number 3, the business model that allows you to make a profit and enjoy that journey and achieve the goals that you want to achieve in life. And I think when you can find the intersection of those 3 things, the problems you love solving, the people you love working with and that you want to serve, and the business model allows you to express that in a powerful way and get to where you want to go. That's what we're trying to get to. And when, so surround yourself with people that can help you find the clarity in those things for you and get you on the right path. And really that's, what I like to think I was able to help contribute to you guys in Delta Life, really with, when you started with the company-owned stores and licensing, and then, bringing you guys to the IFA and just saying, hey, we got to go here. And this is the path. And getting you on the franchise journey in a powerful way.
When I think back to mentors that we had, and even you, when I think about, I can see how that can be scary to go get a mentor, because you're right, Sean. When we brought you in, and we talked about like, okay, hey, Sean, this is what we want to do, and we think it's going to be super cool. And you said, okay, if that's what you want to do. And we kind of spent a whole day doing some strategy, and we came up with a list of things that needed to happen over the next year. And I can still remember looking at that list with just fear and anxiety of, I don't know how to do one of those, let alone everything that's on that list. So I can understand where the anxiety can come from that. But like you said, Sean, it's the only way. If you want to get there, you got to go find people who've done it, and you got to listen to them, and you got to take action on it. But it's easier said than done.
No, absolutely. I remember the first time we met Sean, I think we explained our story for about 30 minutes. He was about to catch a plane out of San Diego. And he listened to our story and basically looked at me and said, hey, Rob, if you want to make it work, you need to quit your job and move across country. So having a mentor.
We drove from that meeting to the airport. I think you guys drove me to the airport in Josh's truck. And that truck ride was like a life-changing ride because Robbie, that's when you sold your house, moved to Florida, just like took off, I think, really from that point. And really Josh's path of eventually leaving the military, kind of extended from there. So that was a life-changing ride to the airport.
And that's the power of having a mentor and a coach, because Robbie and I would have never pulled those triggers by ourselves, I don't think. But 2 weeks after that truck ride, I was standing in Robbie's new driveway in Florida, staring at a U-Haul that needed to be unloaded, looking at Robbie saying, are we really doing this?
Yep. We had no choice at this point. That was it, But we would never had that conversation just because you needed somebody to help you understand the problem and help push you to make that decision. It was the right decision at this point, yes, but at the time we didn't know. But it made it a little bit easier when it was a third party working us through why that needed to happen. And no, if you're going to go get a mentor or coach, one, you got to be coachable. So
that's true too.
You got to go into the situation and understand that the advice you're about to get, you need to go take action on it. That's just me and Josh. That's one thing I think we've always been very coachable. And
for sure.
Rob, that's still one of those epic stories of all time. That time was just incredible. Well, and I think that was probably one of your biggest turning points, really. You just went all in and took off from there. So well done for having the courage to make I shared the advice and gave the direction, but you had the courage to execute and make those decisions and make it happen. And it's amazing. So well done.
Well, we appreciate it.
We do appreciate it. Sean, you said another thing. you said that if they don't know what they want to do, they got to spend some time figuring that out. But then you said something else, and I've been around you when you've been coaching different people that are facing a hard time, because commercial fitness, business is hard, period. There's so many things coming at you, but so many ways to fail in commercial fitness. And I've watched you, you just said it, you just listed out all the different things from 2006 to today that MP has done. And why? Is that because Sean loves coming up with new product offerings? No, it's because you're having to react and counterpunch, to an ever-changing market. And you've done everything you could to continue to be on the 8-time Inc. 500 to 5,000 list. But that's not easy. A lot of people aren't willing to make those changes and fight with the free market the way you have. You said something earlier. You said you just got to not give up and you got to hang in there. Talk to us a little bit about that. How important has that been with you personally or the other people you've coached? Have you seen, is there a point where some people should give up and walk away? And how do you know when that time is right? And how do you know when you just got to dig in and never quit and fight?
Well, that's the $1 million question right there. Are there times when you should give up? Yeah, there really are.
For sure.
There are those times. And there's times when you shouldn't. And how do you discern the difference? That's the magic question. And I think that's where you've got to surround yourself with great people. And you've got to do some soul searching. And you got to, I think some of the biggest breakthroughs, or the biggest breakthroughs, always come from facing some of the biggest challenges. Like, you face some massive challenge, and it can be anything, right? Losing employees, or having location challenges, cash flow issues, market changes, recession. There's a million things that can change the environment that you're operating in, and through no fault of your own, and even personal things, right? Family member dies, just all kinds of things that allow you to just change the environment, circumstances which you're operating in. So you've got to be willing to reassess those things. And there are no, one of my favorite quotes from Straight Line Leadership is, there are no problems, there's only decisions to make. And you've got to make some decisions. And I think that's the mindset that you've got to adopt. Is there, again, it's really about, and it's very empowering to think, whatever problem, it's not a problem. It's just, you have to make a decision, take control by making decisions. But certainly when you get faced with big challenges, they require us to make new levels of commitment to ourselves, to our business, to the things that are important to us in our life and our values, and grow through those experiences. And if we're willing to make those changes, we'll be transformed in the journey. And we become more, and the world becomes more and different and new and exciting around us. And so, how do you figure out when it's time to dig in, when it's time to fold or pivot? I think pivot's probably a better word than fold. I think it's you're constantly pivoting, and sometimes that pivot may be a 180 degrees pivot and down a different path. But I think that's probably the better way to look at this is pivoting your journey, your entrepreneurial journey, based on your life journey and the market that you're in, and the other forces at play.
That's such a great answer. Such a great answer. And it segues right into the next thing I want to talk about. And I remember listening to the interview you just did with Dr. John Berardi. The thought between just taking more action, 10x action, versus being strategic and strategy. And I think there is probably a place for both. When I think back to the beginning, if I hadn't have taken 10x action, I don't think it would have allowed me to get to where I can now be strategic. But they are very different things. I think they're important for different reasons. Sean, what are your thoughts on that? How do you know when it's time to just, okay, I'm in an early stage and I just have to grind. I've got to outwork this and get it somewhere, versus, okay, grinding is not going to make it any better. Working harder on the wrong things is not going to help. I need to step back and be strategic here. And you have one of the best strategic minds that I've ever been around. So how does one know when they just need to roll their sleeves up and get to work, or be more strategic?
Yeah, also a great question. And thank you. Yeah, strategy is probably my greatest passion. It's what I think is one of my best strengths and where I like to play the game. And I like to think is like, if you're gonna chop down the tree, the strategy is how well you sharpen the axe versus should you just keep swinging. And there's a time for both. So you got to get a sharp axe and you got to keep swinging. So I think very often, a lot of people equate the 10x action or taking action theme with the early stage of entrepreneurship, and just turn off Netflix and focus on doing work and do more work and outwork other people. And you've got to develop that persistence and ability to the drive that pushes you through and builds the depth of really your strength of character. And builds foundations for you to grow on. It's like your base, right? You got to have a base, but to get the most out of that, power, you've got to be able to focus it, and that's where strategy is. All about the focus and focus in the right areas that they're going to actually move the needle and get there with less effort, right? Not having to, instead of I got to swing the axe 100 times, I can swing it 10. So we're always looking to get both of those. And I think, it's like I said, a lot of times the action is equated with the early stages of entrepreneurship, but very often the early stages, people are swinging. They just don't have terrible strategy, and they don't have a business model, and they're just running around doing activities. So we need to have strategy at every stage of the journey. We also got to work hard at every stage of the journey. And we're working on those pieces. One of my best friends and mentors like to talk about really the mindset is first and foremost. What is your mindset? I think the mindset of I'm willing to work hard, I'm willing to recommit on a new level, I'm willing to push past, and not accept less than my best. I think that mindset is critical always. And then I think we've got to take action, with that mindset. You can have, a good strategy and plan. And I think that's where the first action is to have a good strategy and plan and not just be doing random, bits of 50 different things. So the first action, strategy is action, right? We're taking the action to form the strategy and to get support with clarifying the strategy and get the right plan. And then we got to go execute, and keep going, and working that process and getting the feedback loop of where we can, perform a good retrospective of what's working, what's not, where we can improve, and keep going. And working those things together is critical.
That's awesome. and you taught Robbie and I how important it was to stop, do quarterly planning, SWOT analysis, look through those things. But even with having good strategy, it seems to never end, right? As an entrepreneur, and when I think when I look at the sheet and I think about you creating MPE in 2006, Facebook and Instagram weren't even a thing, like let alone Facebook ads, right? And so when I think about all the people that have been in your space over the years, a lot of they'll come out with one type of offer, some social media stuff. But the reason you're still here and going strong with offices in Los Angeles, London, and Sydney, in my opinion, is you've been able to adapt and adjust and fight through those ever-changing landscapes that has been thrown at you. And I can imagine it has not been easy to resell the staff and the team you've built on, hey, I know we were going hard in this direction, but now we've got to change and go this direction. Can that be hard to lead both your consumers and the team behind you, Sean, whenever you're seeing an ever-changing landscape and you make those pivots and then trying to get the team's buy-in and eventually even the consumers to understand?
Oh, of course, it's a challenge. Well, I think the bigger the team you have and the more spread out the team is, the harder it is to make those pivots. It's like when you have an aircraft carrier, it doesn't turn on a dime like a small little jet ski. So it's more people involved to make the transition, to get the momentum going in a new direction. But, I think that is, that's the fun of entrepreneurship. If you don't enjoy, being able to pivot and make adjustments and learn, improve, then you're going to miss out. So, I think we got to fall in love with that process. I think as leaders and entrepreneurs, it's very typical though, where the entrepreneur and the founder and the leader, wants to make quick changes. And the bigger your organization gets, the harder it is to do that. And there can be, a big disconnect. And then the you hear for all the time, founders who are, why doesn't my team get it? Why don't they see the things I see? Why can't they respond the way I'm responding? Why don't, and there starts to be a big divide. And so I think as entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial, founder-led companies, we've got to have patience with ourselves. We got to have patience with our team. We got to work the balance of, navigating the landscape in the changing environment, but as well as, as you said, leading our teams through those challenges and changes and be able to help them grow through those phases of growth and how we got to evolve to be successful for, ourselves and the way we serve the market that we're in.
Yeah, it's a great answer. And going back to it just never ends. And I know you've got mechanics and things in place now to help you sort through a lot of these things. But if you could go back to, that 2011, 2012 Sean, or a lot of the younger entrepreneurs that are listening today that maybe have 1 or 2 units of something or just getting off the ground, that to-do list never goes away. The things that you want to work on in your business that aren't where they need to be, that never goes away. And it can really start to weigh on an entrepreneur 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, while they're trying to sleep, in the shower, eating dinner with the family. It's just all you think about. Any tips for that young business owner on how to start creating a world where they can compartmentalize some of those and get back to those, and be able to function in a regular life and still grow the business?
Yeah, 100% get a coach. Get a coach. For you to manage the stress and pressure of leading and growing a company, and also bring in the balance of your family and your health and your relationships, you need support. And you need someone to be able to, not just vent to, but someone to be able to talk through, another perspective that you trust, that you value, and can help you navigate the landscape and, work through those challenges. I continually invest in having, great, mentors and a coach to work with. And I recommend, I practice what I preach. You got to have someone to support you in that journey because you can't do it all yourself. And as good as you are at solving problems for the market, you need to surround yourself with people who can help you navigate your own stuff. It's why good coaches need coaches. I think we've all got to have that in our life.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, you back that up. You said earlier you've spent close to probably $1 million or more up until this point on coaching yourself. So I know you understand the value there. Two kind of softballs here to wrap up with as we're finishing up the show today. Sean, tell us, as you look back on this journey, and you've done some really amazing things, and you've had some unique opportunities and got to stand on some really cool stages, and you've just got to do some really amazing things. What's been the funnest or the most fulfilling part of this journey for you?
It's a great question. I think the most fulfilling part is so I'm NP. We just celebrated our 13th anniversary in July, so just a few months ago, and to see the people, the lives that they've been able to impact, all over the world that we've served as clients of NPE through our product and service offerings over the years in the U.S. and Canada and the U.K. and Ireland and Europe and Australia and Asia, and it's amazing, to really, and especially how we're so connected today with social media with the world and people in all countries and friends, and seeing how I've been able to help people navigate incredible challenges and seeing how that's impacted their careers and their families, health and financial health and success and prosperity, and how they've grown and developed and created the business they wanted and created the life they wanted, and how that work is meaningful work, and it's work that I'll always look back on and I'm inspired to continue to do, because seeing the impact that our mission has had in well beyond dollars and cents and business metrics and a balance sheet is some of the stuff I'm most proud of and is most fulfilling in my life. So I love the work I get to do supporting entrepreneurs solve problems, achieve goals, and doing that around the world is just amazing.
Yeah, awesome. And you've impacted so many lives. I mean, Robbie and I are, just two of them, but even our kids have been impacted by, what you and the mission of MPE and what y'all have done. So
It's more than two lives he impacted with us. I mean, the franchisees, the people they're serving, it wouldn't be possible if it's early years of Sean and his company helping us put the foundation of Double Life Fitness. So.
No, it's true. It's true. So, yeah, next to making a giant impact, Sean Greeley, you can put a giant check mark because you've got that one covered.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Well, it's a pleasure.
So not to go too dark or anything, but what's been what's been something that you haven't enjoyed, or what's been the hardest part for you on the journey? What's been the biggest struggle for you?
There's been a number of challenges that that everybody faces in entrepreneurship. I think I could go down a number of paths for this one. And we could do another show on this, challenges and overcoming them and different lessons learned. But certainly fast growth companies, those are the most as an early stage entrepreneur, those are the times you wish for and you work hard for, and you thrive on that achievement and growth. And however, it's the most dangerous and challenging times in a company, because when things are growing quickly, it's easy for things to get off the rails in so many different areas of the company, and with the team, and with the product, with customer satisfaction at scale, with delivery, with even just controls in your company in different areas. So that is tough. And I think being patient with growth. I tell people all the time, I'm much more concerned about where you're going to be in 5 and 10 years than where you're going to be in the next 6 months. At the same time, everybody that says, well, great, but I got to survive the next 6 months to get to the next 5 and 10 years. So we got to work on the short, medium, long-term phases of growth of a company. But I think managing that, you've got to have really, really good people around you, and continue to invest in having people around you to support, risk management. The bigger your company grows, risk management has become more important than growth. And having, the right people to support that in a powerful way, and being patient with the things that are required to invest in risk management, because we've got to, it's not all sales and marketing and glitz and glamour to continue to support that. So being patient with that is critical. I think also just continue to refine the business model to scale. The more you grow, it's easier things go from simple to these phases of simple to complex, right? And then complex, we've got to work hard to make it simple again, because continue to do the work of making things simplistic is what allows the continued growth and scale and development at every level. So, that also takes a lot of patience and work and time and experience, and you're going to have, you got to fail fast, but you've got to do it in the right, context, environment, and hopefully have the right people around you to do that and navigate that well. So I think those are some of the most important lessons and things I'd share that were hopefully helpful to others out there.
That's such a good one, and probably lends why you gave us the type of books you gave us whenever you first met us. But it's so true. I mean, we run into people out locally marketing here in the Houston area, and everybody comes up to us and it's just like, oh, you guys are growing so fast, that's so great. But like you said, that is the thing, and exactly what you said. It's what you always dreamed of, but man, when you get there, it's not unicorns and rainbows like you thought it would be. It's more stress. I mean, I definitely would prefer, personal stress-wise, I prefer the early days when I can just fail fast, and if I mess up, the only person I affect is me and Kristen, and I'll outwork it. I'll figure it out, and as those problems and things you have to solve get bigger and bigger, and they affect more and more lives, man, that stress just really mounts up, and it's hard to manage through, and you take them all you take them seriously, but like you said earlier, from straight line leadership, I think it's just, you can't just keep kicking them down the road. Those are hard decisions. They bring you anxiety, and we have a great process. We get together with our leadership team. We just came from it this morning, every Tuesday, and we go down. We have an issues list. How many are on it right now? Like 50 something. And we have to process as many as we can and make decisions and get out there. But that is a tough part of the journey that I didn't see coming. Everybody always said, like, don't grow too fast. That's stressful too. I thought, no way.
Thought not having cash is stressful, didn't you?
Exactly. I'll figure that out when I get there. But everything you just said, Sean, is absolutely right. Hey, Sean, we've got a lot of young fitness guys that are creating brands. Some of them wanting to franchise that listen to the show and stuff. If there's people out there wanting to figure out how to get the coaching you've been talking about, or get access to different modules that can help them build the foundations for these types of businesses, how can they get more information or reach out to you guys and learn more about Net Profit Explosion and what you guys offer?
Yeah. Come check us out, npfitness.com, and you can, learn more about our programs and product and service offerings. You can go to npfitness.com/podcast. You can, subscribe to our new podcast we just launched. You can opt in for a free e-course. I mean, we got all kinds of great things to learn about education and services and products we offer, and invite everybody to come check it out. If you're in the health, wellness, service, based businesses, and you sell skills or time, and you want to grow, then that's our passion. We do it around the world. We do it for lots of different models and modalities in health, wellness services.
Go check them out. Delta Life Fitness wouldn't be what it is today without Sean Greeley and Net Profit Explosion. Sean, thanks for your time on the show. We've got Game 6 of the World Series tonight. Go Astros. Hopefully we can bring it home. Sean, thanks so much. Conroe,
thanks,
Houston, Texas. We will see you on the next show next month.
Take care, guys. Be well.
In the Texas Franchise Radio. Oh, you're in the business? Well, this is what you need. Reppin' Texas, they professionals up in the industry.
Thank you for listening to Texas Franchise Radio, where we bring on all the local franchise experts. If you liked the show, please share it with your friends. If you have any questions you'd like answered live on the show, send them to @Texas Franchise Radio on Facebook. Till next time.
Texas Franchise Radio. You ready? Let's go. Robbie and Josh going live, and it's time to hit the road. You were tuned in to Texas Franchise Radio. Oh, you're in the business? Well, this is what you need. Reppin' Texas, they professionals up in the industry. What we talking about? We talking business models, invest in franchises. We going full throttle. Learn about the industry. I know you got the questions. We're trying to help you grow and take it to the next level. Straight up. Franchise operators and the experts. It's time to tune in and expand your network. So let's see how it's all done and how it's operated in the local Texas market. Time to get us educated. Robbie and Josh going live. Time to hit the road. You tune in to Texas Franchise Radio. Get your business popping. Yeah, they came to let you know.